won't say, but you know what? I didn't look to see who's behind the curtain, so I have no idea who's here. This could get awkward, ladies and gentlemen. Hey guys, can you pull back the curtain over there just so I see who's there?
It's Alan Moore.
It's Alan Moore. No. Okay, wait, wave it to me from the sides. Okay, writer of Flash, also with metal, Mr. Josh Williamson. Next up, let me see another face. Come on, who's there? Pull the curtain back. Pull it back. This isn't working for me. Yes, James Tennant. There we go. One more time. Let me see if I can get another one. Pull it back one more time. Ready? Here we go. Mr. Steve Orlando. Okay, next up, Justin Jordan. Come on, Justin. Come on, keep it coming. Next up, Robin Venditti. Mr. Robin Venditti, come on up. Bring it up. And we have a very special guest. You might know him as the Marvel cab driver. We know him as Mr. Frank Thierry. There we go. Excellent. Awesome. I had to do it, Frank. I'm sorry. Everybody thinks you were pretending with that voice. We know better, right?
I'm really from England.
Okay. Well, one of the things I want to do right now, and honestly, what's really been great about metal is, and let me go through the whole speech. We started with Rebirth about a year ago, a year and a half ago, and what we did is we went back to those core conceits of the characters. Settle it down, get those sensibilities back in place, get the ideas of what you'd like to see in those characters back in the books. And you, as fans for DC, have responded amazingly well. But we knew we just couldn't sit there and rest on our legacy. We cannot sit back like that. We had to go ahead, and we had to push things forward. We had to push new ideas and new concepts in here. And like Scott had done back with Batman, when he brought in the Court of Owls. What was so great about the Court of Owls was that it really brought a lot of new ideas into the DCU, but fit so naturally into the storytelling that it was amazing to see. So what we're doing right now is that they decided to one-up themselves and do one better. And the incredible team of Greg and Scott on Batman pretty much rocked that book for about 5 years, right, guys?
Yes.
Pretty amazing. And what we're seeing right now is all that energy, not just on a single character, but on the entire DC universe. So I'm going to throw it up to Scott and Greg, and you guys take us through metal.
Yeah, well, first, let me just say thank you guys. Above all, we never expected it to do what it's been doing. The fact that you guys have sold out all the one-shots, all the issues, it's beyond our wildest dreams. We get together, he came to my house, and I had this whole speech about what metal was about, where I'm like, it's about these evil Batmen that come from the dark multiverse, and da-da-da. And he came over, it was him and Jamie, his wife, and I was like, okay, so it's called metal. And he's like, I'm in. I'm in! And I was like, wait, I had
this story is mine!
I had a whole power. But what it was really about was seeing your guys' response to Rebirth and the love that you have for the characters and the fact that you were so supportive of us on the New 52, but had certain things you wanted to come back, and then Rebirth brought them back, and you were there to celebrate that stuff. We felt we had the launching pad to do something totally, totally new. And so I spoke to Grant, spoke to Neil, a lot of people, and I was like, I want to create this thing, the Dark Multiverse, which is essentially this oceanic, spooky realm beneath the DCU. And they were like, you know what? You have to just go places we haven't gone before. And I was nervous about it, he'll tell you. I'm always terrified, but I was really terrified that you guys...
I could show you all the text messages. I saved them all.
He only responds with emojis, which is I write these long...
I'm an artist. I tell a story with pictures.
Whatever. It's like the poo. You know what I mean? When I'm like, I'm really worried about this poo. Whatever. Anyway, no, but we were really, I was scared because, Rebirth had been about bringing back classic and legacy and that stuff, and to go somewhere new with those characters was nerve-wracking. And the fact that you guys have come and supported it, metal is for me a story that celebrates the bonkers, over-the-top, classic Kirby-esque kind of storytelling that I love, I grew up on and loved. And it's a personal story. It's largely about waking up and realizing that the versions of yourself that you see around you are not the ones you like. And I've had moments like that in my life, but ultimately, what we wanted to do with it was go out there and say, at this moment in time, we want to remind you that there's a way to get at stuff that's relevant and personal by going so over the top and crazy that it's a reminder of this medium's potential. Because I remember being a kid, my kids are here, their friends are here, they're right here. Yeah, right? But I was their age and I went with my dad, who's here. He used to take me to New York Comic Con and to comic stores and all of that. And the stories that I grew up on were ones that I didn't realize were speaking to things that were about personal and important matters because they were so fun and crazy. I was just wrapped up in what's going to happen next month. And I wanted to do something like that. And our friendship, like getting to do Batman with Greg, having you guys support us in a way where we'd be able to become family. We wanted to give back to you with it and be able to say, let's all rock out this summer and have the best time together and remind each other why these characters are the best in the world and take them places that you haven't seen. So, and you haven't seen anything yet, I promise. It just gets, he'll tell you, it just gets crazier and crazier. It's like Joker dragons and it gets so nuts. I wanted to spoil so much. I have like all these things.
Keep going.
Well, I was like,
we make a pact in my panels. I don't know if you guys know about my official pact in my panels, but what we say in the room stays in the room, right? Nothing goes out, right? The more you keep it in here, the more we tell you. So keep it going. Go, Scott. Give something away.
I love that it's like being videotaped. But
details.
No, I mean like with 3, you start going the Shazam stuff, the Rock of Eternity, the original Thanagar, which is like the Roman Empire you didn't even know existed. You know, Secrets Beneath Atlantis, Guitarist, the Center of the Earth, the Dreaming, Sandman. It's so many things. You know, Joker, all kinds of crazy stuff.
Believe me, it is so many things.
It's good. It's whatever. I get all excited and I'm always like, guess what? You know, Red Death, because we get to Bats Out of Hell soon, right? Which is where all the Dark Knights, which are these evil Batmen, fight the Justice League. And I was like to him, I'm like, guess what? Every one of them has their own evil Batcave, and they trap a Justice League member in it. And I was like, oh, and the Red Death one is going to have like Mad Max, like 1 million Batmobiles that are going to run over the Flash.
There's a writer, 1 million Batman. How long did it take him to say it? Took him less time to type it, okay? How much time to draw 1 million Batmobiles?
But it's so cool.
Damn writers. God damn writers.
Our last text exchange, I was like, hey, I finally figured out how to change the color of like the emojis, and he was like, writers. And then I sent him all these emojis of the writing hands in different colors. It was like, so yeah, writers. And he sends me memes where it's like, if artists ruled the world, and it was like,
No, I said if the shoe was on the other foot. I don't want to rule the world.
Go ahead. And it's like, it's literally like all my word balloons, but with a giant image on top. You just smack
Oh
it
yeah,
on.
how's that feel, huh? Suck it up.
No, but at the end of the day, like this story, Eddie, like the people editing it, who are great as well, and all these people, I just want to say thank you. Like, one of the things that's been great about Metal is that it's a huge collaborative effort. You know, getting Jeff's advice, Jeff Johns, and then coming in and bringing in a team of people that are friends and that I am inspired by and that, you know, I look to for advice. You know, we go in there saying, how can we make the best thing for you where every piece of it is relevant, where Bats Out of Hell is going to be knockdown, drag-out fights, and the one-shots are the origins of these creepy Batmen and what they're doing here in the Dark Multiverse. The Gotham Resistance is going to be like Game of Thrones Gotham on crack. Like, every single thing was like, how do we make this...
Have you ever done crack? How do you know it's not crack? I've never done crack. I can't verify that.
Fair enough. It's my imagination of what crack would be like, I suppose. But the feeling was making you guys something that ultimately every part would be relevant, every part would be awesome, and I have to say, like, these guys have delivered, where every single issue of these one-shots, everything coming just gets crazier and crazier and crazier, until when you get to issue 5 and 6, and the things that we have coming, and trips around the multiverse with Detective Chimp, it gets so...
Detective Chimp!
It really is, and I just cannot thank you enough, because we did not expect it to do what it's doing. The fact that you guys have supported us. What I said to Dan right before the panel, we're hanging out all the time, I was like, can we tell them what comes next? Because you guys throwing support behind us, because we hear you and say, hey, they actually like what we're doing with Rebirth, let's keep going. You know, it's a relationship, and the more you guys tell us what you want, and we, you know, you get excited about the books, the more we want to deliver. So the stuff coming after Metal too, which we'll start talking about once we get over the hump of 3 and 4, that's all planned, man. It gets crazier and crazier and crazier and bigger. All built on story, none of it to shock you and like change the core characters in ways you don't like. It's literally about taking the energy of Metal and saying, let's just keep going big, fun, celebratory with these characters and take you new places.
That's great. Thank you. That's good stuff, man. I But I always got to, whenever Scott goes into the metal and that, I'm going in the order of some of the guys, how the level of involvement. Have to go to James. James is the unsung, not the unsung, the well-sung hero. I think you're being sung lately.
I like singing.
You like singing. But James, your involvement behind the scenes and helping craft this and just really helping bring the texture of this. Your background in just helping build metal with Scott.
Well, Scott and Scott's like one of my closest friends in the world. I just spent a few days out at his house planning the future of DC Comics, and this is really a dream come true, going all the way back to when I was just doing the backup stories to Scott and Greg's Batman run, starting all the way back in Batman #8, it's really just being able to kind of bring that kind of, take the ethos of metal and bring it into these crossover series, and the crossovers and into the one-shots, the Dark Knight one-shots. We didn't want any of this material to just feel like filler, to feel like a kind of cash grab or anything. We wanted each of these stories to stand alone as something really truly special, something that stands on a shelf so that ultimately there'll be a handful of metal books on that shelf, and you want to have moments in each and every one of those that are important to you guys, important to the readers long after the series. Because my favorite events, going all the way back, it wasn't just about the core event book. The core event book was always where all the cool, so much of the cool stuff is happening, but some of my favorite moments, around Infinite Crisis, for instance, happened in those little crossover miniseries and the Countdown to Infinite Crisis and the miniseries and all of that. And it's just we want to create an entire ecosystem of freaking awesome comics, and I'm really proud of the work we're doing, and I'm really excited for you guys. We've had 3 of the Dark Knight specials out, Dawnbreaker this week, we've got The Drowned, Devastator, and Batman Who Laughs coming at the end, we wanted each of these stories to be real twisted and awesome and over the top and fun, and I'm really, really proud of everything we've been able to do.
That's great, man.
Wait till you guys see the Batman Who Laughs. It is so dark. This guy knocked it out of the park. It's my favorite thing where it literally is because all the evil Batman, right? They're not just, it'd be it's commercial evil Batman. But the fun of it is each one of them is an extension of one of Bruce's deepest fears. So Devastator, right, the Doomsday one, is his fear that he's become too close to people to actually protect against them. So what if Superman went bad and he wasn't prepared, right? So this is about him infecting himself with the Doomsday virus and so on to be able to fight Superman, and then everything goes wrong. The Batman Who Laughs is literally that fear that maybe I should kill the Joker and what would happen, right? And if you kill the Joker's heart has a toxin in it that might make the person who kills him the next Joker.
I just love that.
Then you get the Batman Who Laughs, who's crazy scary. You should spoil that scene where the family goes.
No.
Spoiler!
There we go.
No,
right.
One of my favorite scenes in the Batman Who Laughs is basically, there's the moment after you sort of realize that, Batman has killed the Joker, and people have been checking in, make sure, you've said all this time, there's this slippery slope, and he finally but it's just he thinks he's okay, but he starts laughing at the wrong moments and stuff like that, so he brings the whole Bat family into the cave, and he says, I want you guys to understand there's something in the Joker that's starting to rewrite my brain and start to make it, my moral centers are closing down piece by piece, and they're thank you for telling us, Bruce, we can help you through this and all that. No, I'm not telling you this because I want you to help you. I'm telling you this because I don't want anyone to stop me, and you're the first people who would notice that this is happening. And then he takes down the entire Bat family.
The way he wrote it.
I love this.
The way he wrote it so dark. He's well, I didn't invite you here for you to help me, and it's guns, it's behind them. It's so scary.
I'm very excited.
Hey, you know what? Let me go down to Frank, because we mentioned Devastator over there. You've been
Yes.
the whole way through. What was that book like for you?
Well, the good thing is, Scott may not know what it's like to be on crack, but I do. So, he was able to consult me on what a crackhead thinks and when he approaches the stuff. Devastator, it's really over the top, crazy. Batman, you want the Batman-Superman fight? You got, right off the bat, Batman loses his arm on the first page. You got, you know, Devastator attacking Metropolis, people going crazy. You got a big Devastator Lobo fight, which is worth the price of admission alone.
I love that.
Yeah. I love it too. But yeah, so you got, you know, it's really over the top. You know, we wanted everybody to have a lot of fun with this. It's really over the top. Scott's got a lot of crazy ideas. Me and him talked about, you know, the fact I'm on crack and yeah.
During an intervention.
Yeah. He sat me down, him and my family, and I'm like, we want you to write Devastator, but you got to get off the crack, all right? And no, but it's really, we had a good time there.
Hey, you know what? I want to go to Greg for a second, because these are all your crazy designs, all the different Batman. I mean, what was it like for you pulling those all together? And how do you really find something unique to each one of them that you're able to bring out?
Well, you know, Scott usually gives me his thoughts, you know, when he's writing the script, you know, and I'm thinking this and I'm thinking that. You know, so that's always the jumping off point. And, you know, sometimes they land close and sometimes they land far. But, you know, one example, like, for the Batman who laughs, I mean, he goes, maybe he has no eyes. You know, he can't see, we just see the smile. You know, he'll give me a direction like that. And then for the Aquaman, Batman, it was like, you know, maybe, what did you tell me? Like steampunk kind of stuff, you know. And so he'll give you that kind of direction, and then I just take that and kind of run with it. Like, I'll give you an example, because it's one of the ones, you know, so more easily explained than some of my other stuff that's more just feelings guide me, but like the Flash. Okay, so we go, all right, well, the first line that you have to go to, you know, how do you define that character? Just so you have Spider-Man, go on the other side of the fence, with webbing, okay? Just because it's spider web. So with the Flash, they go, oh, what's fast? Bolt of lightning, right? So that's why he's got the logo and everything like that. So you go, okay, so that's already been done. I go, so what can I do different? That'll look nasty and gnarly given, you know, he's dark. And so that's when I started adding all the fins and the spoilers and the intake and all that stuff like that, because that stuff's also fast. We see him on jets and fast cars and everything like that, and it looks more gnarly than a lightning bolt. So that's the kind of thing. So there's my immediate jumping off point. And then the lines, like they see the seams and lines, that's all just the way I feel about the thing. That's why I say, you know, the way I approach things can't be defined. I can't really like sit you down in a classroom and tell you how to do it, because it'll come out of you. But so that's how I approach things like that. So it gives me the jumping off point, and I try and first grab hold of the essence, and then I just unzip my soul and let that just guide. And the pencil does it for me. I'm just autopilot, I just free, let the mind go. That's how I do it, man.
Excellent. Thank you, Greg. Now, I guess you guys been watching this. We've been really careful about putting this series out. What we didn't want to do is overwhelm the fans of this. We know that you have a budget. A lot of folks have a budget, so we want to make sure that this is something that you can afford and enjoy week in and week out. That's why when you see Metal and the tie-ins, there's only 2 products per week. There's the one series or a one-shot, and then there's a tie-in book every week, and I think that's an easier way for you to manage it. And we've also tried to keep the prices down, so we don't want to make it, you know, we want as many people to buy this as possible, and it's so far so good. Really happy about that. So you heard about the one-shots, you heard about the mini-series. We did a number of crossovers. We did a series of crossovers first, which was called the Gotham Resistance, and that we went into some crazy land stuff as the landscapes are changing on the DCU. But we're also coming back with a second crossover called Bats Out of Hell, and I'm going to throw this over to you, Josh, on this one. Okay?
Yeah, I mean, what everyone's been saying, we just wanted to have a lot of fun, and this one, the core of this is the Justice League versus the Dark Knights. Like, that was the main thing for us. We wanted to take these amazing Dark Knight characters that we've been developing and put them up against the Justice League and really test the Justice League and really run them through hell. You know, and then we were saying they go and they put them in these elaborate Batcaves that are each designed to kill a member of the Justice League. And we run them through hell, and it's a big fight. It's really been a lot of fun. Yeah, we just really wanted to, you know, have a big fight, like no holds barred, really let them go at it, and it gets dirty. It gets brutal. I mean, some of the stuff that's going to happen to these characters coming through this, people are going to come through these 4 issues changed.